the magistrate just then pretty much refused to answer most of Kane's questions, or pretty much all of Kane's questions, except for he said, I'm no higher than you, you're equal to you. He actually said that. And what he just did was he referred it to the Supreme Court. If you have a look back on the magistrates, what they call the magistrates court, but the magistrate, it was originally designed to hear cases to see whether they should go to court or not. So it was never designed to give a guilty or not guilty charge. It was only ever designed to assess the evidence and decide whether or not it should go to court or not. All right? And, it became a magistrate's court, but it wasn't originally a magistrate's court. And so that's literally what he'd done. He admitted that he had no jurisdiction to give him a guilty or not guilty charge. Because he said, do you accept my jurisdiction? And Kane said, I don't consent to anything. Do you consent to my jurisdiction? He said, I don't consent to anything. And as soon as he said that, he referred it to the Supreme Court, which is literally what the magistrate's job is.
Yeah.
It's not to give a guilty or not guilty charge.
Because then it becomes a star chamber court, kangaroo court.
That's right. When you consent to it, then he can do it, because you've just told him he could.
Yeah.
Kane didn't consent to it, so now it has to go to the Supreme Court like it originally was. And as that document you sent me today said, that if it goes to the Supreme Court, Kane can ask for a jury. Actually, he could literally there as well, but he can ask for a jury of his peers.
The magistrate actually mentioned that, and the prosecutor said not necessarily.
Well, that's a funny thing. That's the second time I've heard that, because when Dan, the trumpet man, said in the court there, I want a jury of my peers, the registrar at the time said, oh, no, you can't. Then he goes, oh, well, you can, but it doesn't work like that. Hang on a minute. He just said, you can. Well, you can. Because they don't want you to know that you can always have a jury of your peers.
Yes.
Always. And that's the only court that actually had jurisdiction.
It's interesting, though, that the magistrate was the one that found that there was no jurisdiction. It wasn't the prosecutor.
No, it wasn't. That's right.
And in fact, the prosecutor was arguing in the beginning that he did have the jurisdiction and he should hear it.
Well, the prosecutor even tried to separate one charge from the other to try and say that you have jurisdiction, and he did that in our previous magistrate courtroom as well, that you had jurisdiction to do that one case. But literally, that magistrate knew that he didn't, without Kane's consent, didn't have the power to try.
Here it comes now.
The other reality is that it cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars at the Supreme Court.
That's why they had a magistrate's court, was to try and stop that money expenditure for no reason.
There's a magistrate's court usually my president's
I've got a camera on, mate, just to let you know, if you don't mind. That's the spirit.
It's Kane Hobbs.
Kane Hobbs. I remember.
The living man Kane.
The living man Kane, it is. And no judge has jurisdiction over him. It's a beautiful thing. They've referred it to the Supreme Court, but I don't see it going to the Supreme Court. They'll just quash this underneath. They don't want it to go because they'll be found to be guilty.
But the funny thing is that we all know that it'll all get thrown out anyway at the end of the day.
They don't want this
we
to.
We know something they don't.
Yeah.
And we're not going to mention it on camera.
No, that's right, and they don't want it to go because then they'll be found. So, good on you. There's a win. Take it as a win.
Are you reckoning the Supreme Court get thrown out?
Before then, they'll just go away, I reckon,
Did you have some
because if it goes to the Supreme Court, well, then it has to be heard, it has to be aired, and all those things. They have to understand that they don't have the jurisdiction.
Yeah, okay.
They're perverting justice. So rather than go to court and get them getting that found out, they'll just quash it so it never gets there.
And I send this to our knowledge source that you sent me. Can we quickly fly through that because it's interesting that they misspelt it.
Oh yeah. Cairns Post maybe.
Yeah. Cairns Post with regards to another line of delusion.
That's right. Well, there you go. You heard it all here first at Freedom Front Camera, Diggs.
He told you over and over and over exactly that he had no more power than you did. They always give you that opportunity.
It's the same magistrate.
They always give you
No, I
that
don't think so. I haven't heard these names before.
Yeah,
He did
this
exactly
guy
the
was
same thing
from someone new.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's another day in court. They dropped the trespass charge because they didn't have jurisdiction. They,
Different trespass.
yeah, through both of them, they didn't have them. Which is the charge they're pushing forward with?
Assault, causing physical harm to a frontline officer without their consent, which in this court will give you a 2-year maximum sentence, but in the Supreme Court, it's 13 years.
They've threatened him that he should deal with it in the magistrates' court because he's got a maximum penalty of 2 years, and if he goes to Supreme Court, well, that'll be 13 years. Once again, more threatening, bullying, harassing behaviour from an unlawful corp, with a P, corp.
But the truth is that he was playing the drums and she seized the drums.
She sees the drums.
That's assault.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
And the camera footage kept showing it, but they didn't seem to.
No.
So that's it. We'll wait for
The
a.
other thing that they charged him, failure to follow a lawful direction without a reason.
Yeah.
But I thought protesting was actually
We've got a right to peacefully
reason.
political protest. Yeah.
and the fact it was on the AAA, which is the authorised assembly area, which is the designated protest zone for Parliament.
Couldn't
Don't
be more
let facts
stupid.
get away with good stuff.
It couldn't be more stupid if we wanted it to.
But they were smart enough not to mention they had removed our tacit consent. They were ready to do it. I could see them forming the words. I could see them forming the words, but the prosecutor bit his tongue. I actually spoke to the prosecutor a couple of times. Not directly.
He came out foul. The police came out foul and threw their hands in the air. Like, what have we got? They've got nothing. That's all they can do is throw their hands in the air because they've got nothing, and nothing they charge with, nothing makes anything of this lawful. So, but it was good to see them all come out in disarray,
Yes.
angry at us, when they should be really angry at the system and angry at their employers, which is a corporation.
Well, they made shit up.
They made shit up, simple as that.
What the courts to uphold bullshit.
About bloody 10 police got the day off in court.
Yeah. The senior officer was wearing his name badge, and I complimented him on it. I said, I haven't seen one of those for over a year. He looked at me. I said, no, he knew I was serious. I said, I want to compliment you actually wearing your name badge.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I don't mind people knowing my name. I said, well, I understand why your colleagues don't wear it, because with the shit that they pull, they don't want to be knowing who they are. He said, I don't know about that, but thank you.
The ones I went through.
All right,
I said, well, what's your name? He said, Simon.
Simon, no, I think they said they call chopstick or something or other.
Chopstick, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That's right. Yeah, Kane's now gone in to get his transcript, get evidence of it, audio transcript, because the audio and the written seem to be different, quite a bit different.
So those.
The other thing that came into play was the fact that he never made a plea of guilty or not guilty. He just wouldn't play the game. And the magistrate wouldn't hear that, said, no, you've pleaded not guilty, so you've entered a contract. He said, no, you made that plea on his behalf. And the magistrates have been doing that. If you stand and say, I'm not making a plea, there's no contract, not consent. The magistrates have been making a plea of not guilty for us. So once again, he held the magistrate accountable. No, you made that plea on our behalf. I've got no contract, no consent. And then that got the magistrate angry. Apparently, he was fuming. But once again, hold him accountable to the law. So that's a day done. There'll be a bit more come out tomorrow and the next day. But we're going to knock off from here. They're getting transcripts. So that's a knock off. That's another day. Welcome to the ACT Unlawful Magistrates Court. And we continue to play their little games. There's no law about it anyway. Everyone's talking here, so I'll head off. We'll call it quits for the day, and we'll see you again tomorrow at the Freedom. Where are we going to go? The National Rock Garden, Barrenjoey Road, same as we have done for 510 days. Have I done this maths right? 510 days, 2 minutes silence a day, so that's 1,020 minutes silence. If I divided that by 60 minutes in an hour, that comes up to 17. Is that right? 17 hours silence? Check me math, Diggs. Anyway, God bless you. Thank you for being with us, and we'll catch you tomorrow. We'll see you then.